Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Once again, I am back with you all in your chemistry online class. In the last lecture, I had taken up the concept of valency. What is valency? It is the combining capacity of an atom of an element with the atom of other element to form molecules. And before that, I had also taken up the concept of the valence electron and the valence shell. That is the valence electron in the outermost shell. You can see these electrons in the outermost shell. These electrons are known as the valence electrons, and valency is the number of valence electrons an atom uses to form a chemical bond. It is not essential that an atom will be using all the valence electron for the bond formation, because I told you the importance of these valence electrons is that they participate in chemical reaction, whereas the electrons present in the inner shells do not usually get involved in the chemical reactions. It is when we speak about the variable valency only, then only we can say that there is participation of the inner electrons, but otherwise the basic involvement is of the valence electron in the formation of new compound, that is in the in a particular chemical reaction. So, how do we write the valency, or how do we determine the valency? I had told you several rules for that. These are the basic points that you have to keep in mind when determining the valency of a particular element. I told you that the elements with 1, 2, 3 electrons in the outermost shell, or 1, 2 or 3 electrons in the valence shell, show valency of +1, +2 and +3 respectively, and I had given you the example of the various elements. Now, the examples that I have given you are not the only elements which possess the valency of +1, +2 and +3. There are many other elements which possess these valencies, but what is the basic concept, or what is the basic reason behind the possession of these valency? This is given. That is the basic point that has to be kept in your minds when you are considering the valency. I told you you should know the atomic number, and once you know the atomic number, you can easily determine the valence electrons. And once you know the valence electrons, you can easily calculate the valency. Is it clear? For instance, the initial elements, that is the elements which possess the atomic number of 1, 2, 3, you can see in the case of hydrogen, it has an atomic number 1, and then electronic configuration is also 1 and a valency of +1, because that would also be the only electron or the valence electron. So, this is +1. Then helium, you can see, has atomic number 2. It has an electronic configuration of 2. It possesses no valency. It has a 0 valency because its outermost shell configuration is complete. Exactly, it is stable. It is stable, that it is not in a state to combine with any other element. It is not in a state to combine with any other element, that is, it is stable, it need not undergo any reaction. So, it is in a stable form. Similarly, I had told you why boron, that is possessing atomic number 5, it has an electronic configuration 2 and 3. That means how many valence electrons are there? 3 electrons. So, that is the valency is +3. So, this I had told you, and I had also told you that elements with 4 electrons in the valence shell, they show valency of 4. So, this I had told you about the carbon atom, that is, it is having an electronic configuration of 2 and 4, because it has atomic number 6. I had discussed this earlier with you, and so you can see in the valence shell, or in the outermost shell, the number of electrons are 4. So, it possesses a valency of +4. Similarly, with silicon also, that means it has an atomic number 14, the electronic configuration of 2, 8 and 4, and so a valency of +4 is seen in this case. So, the plus sign denotes what? Plus sign denotes the capacity to donate electron, that they can donate electron, they can give the electron to the other element during a chemical reaction. Hence they can show a plus sign. All these elements which possess a positive valency or show a positive sign before the valency, they have a tendency to, or they have a capacity to donate electron or lose electrons. Similarly, you have elements which show a negative valency, -1, -2, -3 and so on. That is, these elements have 5, 6 and 7 electrons in their valence shell. That is why they possess a valency of -1, -2 and -3. And this negative sign shows what? The negative sign shows the capacity to accept electron, that they can take the electrons from the atoms which are losing. So the ones which have positive valency will be giving away the electron or donating the electron to these elements which will accept those electrons. So they possess a negative valency. So let us move on with the some of the other examples also. So all these elements I have discussed, and the reason for their negative and positive valencies I had shown the electronic configuration, and then I had explained the various valencies which I have told you just now. Then let us discuss the points further. So when I had started with valency, I had told you that you can express valency in two ways, that is, or you can define it in two ways, that is the combining capacity of an atom of an element with the atom of other element to form molecule is called valency. This is what I have explained just now. But apart from this, we can even say that the number of hydrogen atoms that combine with or displace one atom of an element or a radical is called the valency of that element or radical. Now what is a radical we will discuss later on in this chapter only, but for the time being you can just remember it as a group of different atoms or an atom of an element or group of different elements that behave as a single unit with a charge which can be positive or negative. So how will we explain this? It can be explained by giving example of hydrogen chloride, in which we have one atom of chlorine which combines with one atom of hydrogen, and the valency of chlorine is 1. So the number of hydrogen atoms that combine with or displace one atom of an element or a radical is called the valency of that element or radical. So you can see this in hydrogen chloride. Now you can see over here that hydrogen atom has the outer orbit or the only orbit that it possesses. You can see the electron that is present because it has one atomic number of 1. So it will be having a single electron which is represented over here by a cross. Okay, it is not shown by a circle. And for chlorine, the electrons are 2 in the first orbit, 8 in the second one, and 7 in the outer one. So these electrons are represented by the blue circles that you can see. These are the circles which are representing the electrons. Now will it be easier? Now how can you explain that which element will gain electron and which one lose them? It is easier for this particular atom, that is chlorine atom, to lose its electron, that single, the 7 electrons, is it easier for it, or to just gain a single electron? It is easier to gain that single electron. So that electron which it has to gain will come from hydrogen. Is it clear? Now you can count both the ways, that over here also outermost shell, if you include the chlorine electron that is being included without that is being shared in hydrogen chloride, this also becomes 2, and here also if you include hydrogen electron, this becomes 8. That means this hydrogen chloride becomes a stable compound. It has become stable now. So how can you explain here over here that one atom of chlorine combines with one atom of hydrogen, hence the valency of chlorine is 1, because how many valence electrons is it accepting? A single one. So its valency is also 1. Is it clear? So valency of chlorine is chlorine is equal to 1. Is it clear? Similarly, in water, that is H2O. What is the formula of water? We know it is H2O. Is it clear? So you can see that 2 hydrogen atoms have combined with 1 oxygen atom. The 1 oxygen atom has combined with 2 atoms of hydrogen. I have told you just now. Hence, the valency of oxygen is 2. This we will discuss in detail when we come to bonding. Is that clear? You can see that in the atomic number of oxygen is 8. So 2 electrons are there in the first orbit and 6 in the second one. Similarly, hydrogen, you know. So the electrons are being shared in both the cases, over here also and here also. Is it clear? So both are having 8. Oxygen is having in the outermost shell, and here they are having hydrogen is having 2 in the outermost. So this becomes a stable compound. So valency of oxygen is 2. 2 electrons are being accepted. Similarly, we have hydrogen sulfate. The formula is H2SO4. So the valency of sulfate radical is 2. Generally, when we write the formula, we interchange the valencies. We know now this is a sulfate radical. That I told you it's a group of atoms. I told you that what is a radical? It is an atom of an element or group of different elements. So this is a group of different elements, and if you write it separately, it will be having a negative sign, -2 charge that will be present on this. So hydrogen has a charge of 1. If you write it separately, this has 1 and sulfate radical has -2. So when we write the formula, this comes over here and 1 will go over here. That is why no number has been given, because it is 1. Hydrogen has a valency of 1. So we can say that sulfate has a valency of 2. I have not shown you the structure, but I have just given you like this. Similarly, in ammonia, so you can see how many electrons, if you have to determine the valency of nitrogen, you can see that 1 atom of nitrogen combines with 3 atoms of hydrogen. Yes, that how many electrons are being accepted by nitrogen? See, the electrons of hydrogen are represented by a cross, 1, 2 and this is here and third one here. So the valency of nitrogen is 3. So this is ammonia, NH3. The formula is NH3N and the 3 atoms of hydrogen. So when we have to determine the valency of nitrogen by, if we get the structure like this, then we can easily determine. We have to just see that how many electrons are being accepted by nitrogen. Is it clear? Because we know what is the valency of nitrogen. It is +3. How its valency is of nitrogen is +3? It is by you can see through the structure. And what is the atomic number of nitrogen? It is 7. So the electronic configuration of nitrogen is 2 and 5. In order to complete the octet, it has to accept 3 electrons. So it is accepting those 3 electrons from hydrogen in this case. Hence we can easily prove that nitrogen has a valency of 3. Is it clear? And on the next page, proceed on to the next page, 54, the atomic structures of various elements, that is from atomic number 1 to 20 are given. So what we had done was that we had I had shown you that how the electronic configuration is written in the various shell K element, and by now you must have understood. Now this is the structure of hydrogen that you can see, that is here. It just has a single electron. It has an atomic number of 1. So that single electron will be there in the K shell. Then we have the next element, that is helium, atomic number 2. You can see over here. Lithium, the third electron moves on to the second shell, that is L shell. Similarly, as you keep on proceeding to the higher atomic numbers, the number of shells will keep on increasing. Here, for example, neon, atomic number 10, it is 2 and 8 over here, sorry, 2 and 8, 2 electrons in the first shell, K shell, and 8 electrons in the L shell. Then phosphorus, 15 atomic number, 2 electrons in the K shell, 8 electrons in L shell, and 5 electrons in the M shell. And here last one, that is calcium, atomic number 20, it is 2 electrons, 8 electrons, 8 electrons, and 2 electrons again. Is it clear? So this is it. So you must be having this in mind, that why isn't that I told you na, it will be, how will this be stable? This cannot be stable if we keep all the 9 electrons in the third shell. It will be unstable. So the this, instead of having 9 electrons, the in calcium, the in potassium, the atomic number 19, the electronic configuration is 2881, and in calcium it is 2882. Next is the concept of variable valency. As the term itself, variable means which varies, which changes. So certain elements exhibit more than one valency depending upon the element with which they are combining. So they are said to have a variable valency. Now for this there are different examples, that is, all the elements do not have variable valency. For example, iron combines chlorine in two different ways, that is, you have the formula FeCl2 when it is combining with 2 chlorine atoms, and FeCl3 when it is combining with 3 chlorine atoms. So that means there are two different formulas, and iron in both the formulas have two different valencies. Here the valency of iron, I told you while writing the formula, I will explain the writing of formula in detail, but I have given you a very I have just given you a briefing of how we write the formula. That is chlorine, the valency is 1 and iron is 2. The valencies get interchanged when we write the formula. So the chlorine valency goes on iron and the iron valency comes on chlorine. So here you can see that FeCl2, that is iron, has a valency of 2, which is written as a subscript over here as 2 in chlorine. Here the valency is +3, that is why it is written as FeCl3. That means iron has a valency of 2 and 3. Similarly, we have other elements as well, that is tin. What is the symbol of tin? It is Sn, and it has a valency of how much? Yes, it also possesses a variable valency. Then we have lead, that is Pb. It possesses a valency of 2 and 4 both. Is that clear? Pb is another element which has variable valency. Now you have the chart which is showing the elements which possess the variable valency. So you can see this table 4.6 on page number 55 in your books. You have the symbols of the elements. Only a few elements with their valencies have been given. The elements which show variable valency: mercury, which possesses the symbol Hg, copper Cu, then silver Ag, and lead Pb. So mercury is possesses the two valencies, that is 1 and 2. And how do we represent the higher and the lower valency? So you can see that mercury, when is having a valency of 1, you have the it is represented by adding a suffix ous, and when the higher valency is there, then it is represented by adding a suffix ic. So suffix ous and suffix ic. So these are there with the lower and the higher valencies. respectively. So you can see in all these cases how they are being represented. For mercury, mercurous, the lower valency of 1, and here the higher valency of 2. And besides that, we can even write the variable valency by Roman numeral. For example, when we have to show the lower valency, that is mercury, it is given mercurous. So we can even represent it as H, and in the bracket we can write the Roman numeral 1 as it is given over here. Is it clear? Similarly, for copper, here the higher valency, it is cupric. You can even write it as Cu, and in the bracket Roman numeral 2. So similarly, there is the same rules are there for the other elements. Argentus, argentum is the Latin name for silver, symbol Ag. So this is argentus and argentic, and the Roman numerals 1 and 2 also given. Similarly, plumbus and plumbic, valency of 2 and 4 are given. So you have to learn them properly. Is it clear? Then in tin, I had told you how is it represented. It is by 2 and 4, that is stannous and stannic. Now in the case of non-metallic atoms, valency is determined by the other types of atoms attached to it. For example, we have phosphorus. I told you what is the valency of phosphorus. It is, yes, I have earlier told you it possesses a valency of -3 because it has atomic number 15. Is that clear? That means 3 electrons are needed to complete the octet. It is -3. How we will be determined the valency? Like for example, it is given, now phosphorus is a non-metal. Similarly, nitrogen is a non-metal. So if it is written PCl, PCl3, how will we know that what is the valency of phosphorus in both the cases? PCl3 and PCl5. How will we know that? Here I told you the valency is 1. Chlorine valency is not variable, it will always be 1. So I told you the valencies get interchanged when we write the formula. So in this case the valency of phosphorus is 3, and here the valency of phosphorus is 5. Is that clear? So that is how we represent it in the form of a formula, and we can easily find out the valency of the non-metallic atoms if they have combined together. Both phosphorus and chlorine are non-metal. Is that clear? But the one which has a variable valency, or even if it is not having a variable valency, we can easily calculate the or we can easily find out the valency by seeing the number which is there on the other element. So we will revise this once again in the last lecture of this chapter. In the next session, please practice atomic structure, electronic configuration and valency, so that it becomes easier for you to understand the formula writing. Allah Hafiz.